because Naruto overall is a better fighter than Whitebeard. Starting off with Naruto's speed, I'll drop the scans when I'm done talking. Naruto low belt, I'll say, is at least FTL. During the war arc, he was able to dodge Madara's light beam. I'll say he was off guard because he was distracted by Madara's limbo while he was being shot at it. Also, in adult Naruto, during his battle with Delta, was able to dodge the light beams, which was quoted from Kawaki. And for Naruto's AP, I'll
I think
say
we should. I think we should like take it step by step. So like we can start on speed first, but I don't want to like just jump from like speed to AP and then we lose points and like don't really like get anywhere. So I feel like we should stay on speed and then like we'll
oh,
progress
that makes
later.
more sense.
All right.
All right.
Um. But yeah,
So
you can use the scans chat. I can add you in it if you need.
okay. So you want me to provide the skins?
Yeah, just post it in scans chat with your friends. Let me
Okay.
lock this off. Here go people being brain dead. Hold up. Let me fix this.
All right. So I'm about to drop the Madara one.
Okay. I take their perms. Yeah, you should be able to post in there. All right.
Already see it?
Yeah, you posted the panel of the Naruto six pass dodge in the Madara light fan.
All right. So I'm gonna drop when Kawaki stated that Delta's beams were like. Oh, it's right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for the Madara light fan feat, it's not even an FTL feat because obviously you can argue that the attack would be moving at light speed, but obviously there's a distance that's dispersed because as light travels, the light would get smaller and small. Well, not smaller, it would get slower. My fault. And there's actually a calc for it that puts that relativistic. Now you could argue it's like aim dodging, and you could argue that he was using Sage Chakra, but it doesn't even matter. Like I can just steel man the point. It's just still not an FTL feat for Naruto. Like, and I can get you a calc for that as well, like showing you not Naruto dodging the life ad. Let me get
Oh,
this for you 1 second. Okay.
all right.
Here you go. One sec. Getting it out of my notes. And this. Yeah, so this feat in particular for Naruto dodging the light fan is only 30% of the speed of light into relativistic. And then that's exactly the pixel scales, the measurements, as well as like the distance quantified and how the light would have to travel towards Naruto's body. Even if you argue that like he was holding down by like a limbo clone, it wouldn't even matter within conjunction with what was happening in the context for the scene. So yeah, it would just be like a relativistic feat. The Naruto Delta feat, on the other hand, I don't even think is a beam of light. Um, I feel like it doesn't even translate to that, and I can get you like a translation for why that's not the case. So
All right.
yeah,
Okay. But I just got a question with the pixel scaling.
okay, go ahead.
So and when Madara shot the light beam, would it like wait? You said that as the light shot towards Naruto, it got slower, or
Yeah, as light travels, it would get slower, as well as the fact that there's a distance between the object and like whatever you're dodging. So if a character like dodges a light speed attack, that doesn't inherently make them faster than light because there's going to be a distance traveled.
But like my question is like, would it really matter about the distance since like it was kind of point blank? He shot the light beam straight towards Naruto.
I mean, it can be point blank. But then, like I said, that's going to go into like more contentious arguments because then you could argue like, well, he didn't actually. There's like aim dodging involved or precaution, and even if you take that into consideration, I say there's not. There still has to be a distance traveled from Naruto to the beam because at base bare minimum, the beam would be 1c, which is what people use to calculate a speed of light attack. And then you have in context Naruto moving away from said beam, so it wouldn't be 1c anymore. It would disperse as time goes on, as well as the distance that's traveled. So
Oh, that makes more sense. I'm gonna just read through the scan.
yeah. But yeah, let me get this delta, the kanji for the Baruto thing. I have that 1 second. So get this and okay, 1 second, I'm pulling it up. Yeah, so this is what the kanji actually translates to for delta's beams. So I posted the scan right here, and I can get the raw translation like directly, like made, as well as the fact that it translates to just like there are destructive beams developed to counter regenerative powers. The reason why like some translators translated it to be destructive beam of light is because beam paired in conjunction typically is synonymous with light, but that's only in a case to where it fits the agenda. Whereas in this case, they can just be destructive beams. It doesn't have to be a light beam, and then they don't even function the same way that like light does inherently, as well as like the color and everything else that kind of like dictates why it wouldn't be. So I don't feel any reason to assume or like assert the value that these beams are moving at light speeds. um but we can continue off of that if you want me to get the like the raw and like show you the translation for it as well. I can do that for you.
Oh yeah, I just got the translation.
Yeah. So it's not really a good speed feat to use. You want to continue off of that?
Oh yeah, we can continue. You
Okay.
want me to keep on
So
going or?
do you have any other like speed feats you want to go over, or like something you want to counter with, or
Oh yeah, I could look through.
okay? I need something to drink. I'm sleepy.
All right, so I have this feat right here with Naruto dodging the Raikage. I'm not sure. I forgot his name.
You're
Like
talking
the
about
second
A,
Raikage. No, the
or
second
wait?
Raikage,
Oh,
like
okay,
the
okay,
reanimated one.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Seijimo Naruto. I'll drop the scan.
You're talking about when Sagemo Naruto reacted, and then he said, "Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what." Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with it. What about it in particular?
All right, so since A in the data book was stated to be relative or almost the speed of light, would this count as a relativistic speed? Since
Yeah,
Naruto, since
that would be a relativistic feat. Because yeah, a the thing is with that statement where it says that like a moves like the speed of light or such like the speed of light or around the speed of light, depending on how you translate it. Um, you could argue that it's a simile and it doesn't have to actually be light speed, and you could just say like, oh, whenever they're saying he moves at a speed like light, that doesn't have to be taken hyper literal. Even if I don't assert that, and I'm just like, yeah, it means he's around the speed of light, it doesn't matter in context because Naruto dodging A and there's calcs for that presented, like for what he had to blitz him. He used body flicker for one. And then two, you can argue in context he doesn't even scale to it and it would be an FTO feat. At bare minimum, it would be relativistic. So I don't even really think that's like a good way to get Naruto to FTL based off of that. But you can
I
give me
wouldn't
the
argue
contention.
Naruto would be FTL from that feat. I'll just say like he is at least bare minimum around that light speed range since he was able to dodge the Raikage.
Well, yeah, that's just relativistic. Relativistic is approaching light speeds. Like
All right, all right.
Yeah, that's it's going to be like that for a lot of feats like presented. Because even if you use like Kaku, like traveling through the mirrors, you can just argue like Kaku got stronger. I mean, slower as time went on. You could do that for the laser circus. You can argue light doesn't bend. There's like a lot of different feats in the Naruto series that I'm like kind of have the same line of logic. But
Okay, okay.
do you have any FTL feats or other things that you want to go over? Or are you like you're fine at keeping Naruto like relativistic?
Yeah. To be honest, those were the only feats I brought up.
All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna pull out this feat. It's recent. Let me get it. 1 second.
Hold on.
One sec. And you've read One Piece, right? Correct. So you know what I'm referencing when I post this.
Have I read One Piece?
Yeah.
Uh, I mostly read the recent chapters, but like, yeah, I read some
Okay, you're
chapters.
caught up. All right. So there's a bunch of feats I can go over, but in particular, I'll just go over like these because a lot of people don't use them. Yeah. So ECG in Whole Cake is able to blitz his own lasers. Even if you're able to blitz the lasers that you shot upon initially, and he's traveling faster than his lasers can move, and we know that lasers are just beams of light. He essentially would be blitzing a light speed attack. You could argue this is FTL, but I don't even need to do that. I can just say like the feat bare minimum is relativistic plus, and then there's even characters like in Whole Cake that can use light speed attacks, such as Sanji's brother that can use a light speed blade. And Sanji is able to blitz these characters and blitz people like Oven, as well as clash with people like Daifuku and other characters in Whole Cake Island to get him into like the Rel plus range. Um, so it definitely is consistent to have them around that speed. But more importantly, I'm gonna post this. Here's this. Got this card for you. Yeah, so you're familiar with like Luffy dodging the PX lasers?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
pre-time
even
skip
a
or post-time skip.
well, I mean, he did it in both, like arguably, but I'm more so referring to this one. Yeah, so in post time skip, at the beginning of post time skip, Luffy's able to react and dodge a PX laser. The only contention that I could really see you having is just arguing that he had observation hockey, so it was like a sense of precognition. Even then, it doesn't matter because it's explained in Wano, which I'm pretty sure you might have already known already. But in Wano, it's literally explained that observation hockey alone doesn't matter if you're not fast enough to even react to the attacks because we see Luffy with like future sight still gets blitzed by a thunder Bagua or could barely react to it. So obviously reaction speed is correlated to this contentiously. If anything, you could just argue it's consistent with the narrative that he can't perceive light speed attacks, but he can react to light speed attacks. So um, I'll definitely say that. And even with this line of logic that I presented, Luffy would have multiple relativistic plus feats to relativistic range, and then he gets massively faster, which I'm going to show you right now. So, so where is this? Okay, so yeah, are you familiar with like 3D2Y?
Oh yeah, that One Piece movie. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. Do you think it's canon?
Isn't it like a novel or something like that?
Yeah, it's a novel as well as a special. Well, at least the Ace one is, but you can argue the Ace novel coincides due to like the writer as well as publication that came from it, like from the publisher. Even then, I would just simply argue to you that the special is canon based off the definitive definition for it. Like what canon is like inherently typically is just what is accepted to follow the chronological pattern of a series, as well as not provide contradiction and follow the main continuity while having some type of supervision or publication from that direct author of the mainline continuity. So like I don't know if you're aware, but Oda like verbatim like gave these people the approval to like use 3D2Y as well as expand upon Luffy's character, despite him lacking this character earlier in the series. And even if you don't accept this, I still think you can get Luffy faster. This is just a quicker way to do it. But let me pull this out.
All right,
Um,
so basically what you're saying is that Oda confirmed that the 3D2Y movie is canon.
I'm just arguing by extension he did. Like I think just Oda even allowing or them approving it to happen, I think that's by extension you could just argue it's canon. Like I don't think that any writer or any mangaka for a series has to directly say, yeah, this is canon, because nobody even really talks like that contextually. As well as the fact that like whenever a movie or a series comes out serialized, they don't state every single time a chapter or a new film or something is released, it's gonna be canon. So I don't even agree to that interpretation. I just feel like you have to argue it is consistent with the narrative and everything else. But this is what I was gonna pull out. Pretty sure you're aware of. Let me get this. So, so are you familiar with relativistic like means when compared to the speed of light or relativistic plus?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
So if you're like 30% the speed of light, or you're 30% into relativistic plus, in this case you'd be 30% of it. So characters that are able to move multiple times faster, as well as get multiple blitzes faster in terms of speed, would be hitting the FTL ranges in terms of overall combat speed and reaction speed. And then here's a panel for this right here. Well, not even a panel, it's just a scan for it. But yeah, so even Burndy is able to like multiply his speed by 100 during it, and then he mentions that Luffy just gets stronger. This could be attributed to his speed as well. And then obviously where I'm getting with this is that Whitebeard is way faster than Luffy. Like unless you disagree with that line of logic.
I'll have some questions. So you're talking about Prime Whitebeard.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, do you disagree with Prime Whitebeard being faster than Luffy?
I'll definitely argue it.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you agree, or you like you want to argue against it?
I feel like I'll argue against it. I don't really think Prime
Okay.
Whitebeard has those feats to prove that he is.
Okay. So
Uh,
an easy way to go about proving so is the fact that right now a Luffy in Gear Fourth, or just a Luffy in base while using advanced COC or just Conqueror's Haki, is able to clash with the hybrid Kaido. Unless you think that Admirals and Yonko aren't synonymous, but I can just like spam a bunch of images that like literally say that Yonkos equals Admirals within the series of One Piece, and they're able to contend with each other. So it's definitely like synonymous with the fact that like, yeah, Whitebeard is on this higher level of power, this higher caliber. Like even Kaido wants to die to Whitebeard, and then Luffy could barely even like stand up to Kaido, or at bare minimum is relative to Kaido in speed. So I definitely think that Whitebeard is faster, as well as like a prime Whitebeard, seeing that he's able to clash with like a Roger that's able to like, you know, replicate the same feats that Kaido should be able to replicate.
that makes sense. I'm not gonna lie, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's one in like Dressrosa verbatim where just like Luffy states that like, oh well, to become Pirate King he has to be like the Yonkos and the Admirals. Then he holds them in conjunction. They're like synonymous with each other. There's one in like I think there's one in like Sap Bodhi that implies that, as well as other statements that like, you know, happened during the Katakuri fight and other things that kind of imply that Yonkos are on this tier of power with Admirals. So I definitely feel like it's consistent within the narrative. But yeah,
Okay.
with that alone and that set in stone, even if a character is able to become 100 times faster, and we know for a fact they're really around relativistic to relativistic plus, they would be breaching into the light speed or FTO ranges. And mind you, I'm not including like, you know, current Luffy speed, or how much faster because he's become multiple times faster than this since that statement even came out. And you could get him hundreds of times, even like thousands or higher into the like just FTL or massively faster than light, but I don't even feel like doing that right now. So, or I think keeping him at FTL right now is fine. It's consistent. It's whatever.
Okay, so I agree with the burn the world scan and the PX scan, but I want to go back to when Sanji was dodging. I forgot his name, but like his brother in all blue and stuff like that. So in the panel, he says that it's a light speed blade. Wouldn't he like kind of contradict himself since light doesn't bend? And would that like mean that it isn't technically light?
So what isn't technically light?
Sanji's brother's one attack. The dude in the blue. The second skin he pulled up.
That's okay. No, it's not the same thing. The Sanji's brother attack that you're talking about for Niji when he uses his light speed attack. Niji using a light speed blade or using this light speed attack in conjunction. First of all, like he's moving with the blade, and the attack itself is supposed to be light speed. He's not saying like that laser or light is light speed. He's just saying he's moving at light speed. The reason why I would even argue that it's taken literal and it's not like a name fallacy is the fact that like I'm pretty sure you're aware of this, or you might not be, but like even Vegapunk like directly worked with the Germa 66, and there's like things in context that refer to like people like Ichiji and other characters within Germa using these light speed weapons or using this technology that is similar to Vegapunk's like photons as well as laser beams and laser technology. So I feel like it would make sense or would be a fair assumption to assert the value that it's very similar in functionality, as well as the fact that like Sanji's stealth black suit is said to be around like light speed, or you're able to move at the speed of light while in your stealth black suit. So I think it's very consistent with the narrative as well for it to be, a light speed attack.
All right, all right, all right.
So
So you have Whitebeard at least on par with Luffy speed or higher.
yeah, I think Whitebeard would like. I mean, you could argue right now, just say like the relative. I think you could argue Whitebeard blitzes Luffy right now. But even then, like I said, this would put them into like the FTL ranges, which is getting multiple times faster, stronger. This isn't even including Luffy's gears or how he becomes like tens of times, as well as like in gear fourth it increases and all these different speed and you know as well as like a base Luffy now being able to contend with Kaido despite a Gear Fourth Luffy getting blitzed before, and like him just becoming massively faster and stronger. So it's not even including that. So yeah, I just think Whitebeard right now would be at least FTO, faster than light, and then I can get him higher if needed to be, but depends on whatever you want to move on to.
Oh yeah, we can move on. I might go back to the speed, but for now we can move on.
Okay. So what do you want? You want to cover AP and durability, or like do you not think Whitebeard is capable of damage in Naruto?
So for Naruto, for his AP right now, I feel like it's consistent that his AP is around planetary or even higher. But I feel like the AP wouldn't really matter since Naruto has durability negation. I could
You said what happened?
I said for Naruto's AP, I said it's contestant that it's planetary or even
Oh, it's
higher.
consistent that
But
it's planetary. Okay.
yeah, but
Um, I don't necessarily inherently have a contention in that. I think you could argue Naruto isn't planetary, but I don't even feel like doing that right now. But it's fine. Yeah. What did
all
you
right, so
say
I'm gonna
after
drop.
that though?
Since Naruto has durability negation, I feel like the AP wouldn't really matter.
Why does Naruto have Durineg?
I'll drop his skin right
Are
here.
you gonna use Rasengan Shuriken,
Not yet.
or is it like the Frog Kumata skin?
This skin right here.
Let me see.
I'll actually code what it says. Here.
Oh yeah, Frog Kumata. Okay, yeah. Um, for this one, when he uses like the Frog Strike, all it just says is by slapping an emerges power on the target, it causes the first and probably last damage. This technique is an inside destruction taijutsu that doesn't destroy the outside surface and transmits the power of the chakra like a wave. Yeah, so it just transmits the chakra like a wave through your body. But could you give me like the potency for this technique?
The potency.
Yeah, because if you're gonna argue it's like a form of durability negation, like you have a potency on hand because you can have different layers of Durineg.
All right, so on the versus battle wiki. Oh, let me drop this one right here. I really think it's a form of potency, but I feel like it falls under a version of durability negation, energy manipulation. Since in the scan it says that let me find it. Uh, you're right here. The frog strike is a senjutsu chakra taken from the energy prompt from Mother Nature.
You said what?
It says right here on the data book that the frog strike is a senjutsu chakra that takes from the energy from Mother Nature. Takes energy from Mother Nature.
Let me see. 1 second. Oh, I don't even think this matters within context, like at all. Yeah, because the thing is, if you're posting the scan and then you're gonna argue that, like, oh, okay, well, in context with this, it's just like energy manipulation or it involves nature energy. I don't think this matters within context because a same like character like Law in One Piece is able to use attacks like a counter shock against Big Mom and negate durability as well as destroy her organs. And then we see stronger attacks like Gamma Knives being able to cut people or damage people like Kaido who are much stronger and have much higher resistances, arguably. Or just the Gamma Knife just appears to be way more effective than the counter shock, you can argue. And then you have characters like Luffy, as well as others that can use higher tiers of durability negation with things like advanced conquerors hockey and other things. So yeah, you can have Duraneg, but there's a difference between the layers as well as the different types of durability negation, and then you having to prove that your character resists those types, as well as having to prove that your character has resistance to that potency of Duraneg. So I feel like in context with what I would be arguing, even a character like Whitebeard is able to use these shockwaves and erupt your body from the inside. And then on top of that, he's still able to use advanced conquerors hockey that can be higher, that could be argued to be a higher tier durability negation than just like regular shockwaves. So I definitely feel like even without going into Whitebeard's planetary to like star level attack power, I don't even think it matters within context due to the fact that Whitebeard just has a lot of different ways to incapacitate Naruto with things like Shockwave, Advanced Conqueror's Hockey, and just raw physical strength. So
All right, so I'm not. Oh, yeah, hold on. So you'll argue that the Rasen Shuriken isn't a variant of durability
no, I
negation
don't think
since
Rasengan
it has
Shuriken
to
is there
like
now. I think you
it
can
has to.
argue. Yeah, I think you can argue Rasengan Shuriken damages, at a certain level. Like it damages at a cellular level. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, Rasengan Shuriken still has to bypass your skin, so it does not just directly work and transfer through your body. Whereas attacks like Advanced Armament Hockey as well as Advanced Conquerors can be argued to be deeper and actually transfer this energy directly into your body instead of having to go through a medium, which is completely different. So,
All right. So with your point about Whitebeard and how his shockwaves could erupt your body from the inside,
yeah.
this skin right here, Naruto was able to survive his. No, not that one. Let me bring another one. Where's it at? Mm. Oh, this one right here. During the Valley of the End, when Kid Naruto and Sasuke were fighting, Sasuke punctured Naruto's lung, and like immediately after that, he was able to regenerate. So I'll say even if Whitebeard managed to damage him, I'll say Naruto would regenerate his organs before it
Okay.
even caused
So
any damage.
the argument there would be that this argument, first of all, is contingent upon the fact that Naruto is able to regenerate these organs or limbs instantaneously. If you don't think that he can regenerate them instantaneously, then we aren't actually given a time frame. We know that after this stuff occurred, Naruto actually passed out, and then he regenerated them later, as well as like they tied him up with the maiden rope and all that stuff happened afterwards. But in context, like you couldn't even prove that Naruto would be able to regenerate that fast, as well as the fact that like I don't even think this matters because what I was referring to with the Rasen Shuriken can similarly be applied here in context. Like Sasuke's Chidori still has to bypass a medium. So if it's going through your body, the energy would disperse. Like the energy doesn't inherently travel through your organs. So it has to go through this wall, in this case, i.e., your body. And then by the time it punctures your organs, some of the power would already be lost from the initial attack. And I don't feel like that's the same thing as like a character like Luffy, a character like Whitebeard, and these high tiers using advanced armament hockey or advanced conquerors and being able to directly transfer spiritual energy into your body, combusting it from the inside out, and just causing your organs to splat everywhere. And mind you, like I said, like right now, I already have like Whitebeard at FTO, and it's like a low ball. So I feel like Whitebeard would just speed blitz, and then over time just continue to blitz Naruto while he's just rupturing his organs before Naruto could even regenerate. Unless you can like prove to me that Naruto's organs regenerate instantaneously, which they don't throughout the series. And even if you did, like, I don't think you can prove he would be able to resist this type of Dirt Egg. So
All right, all right. So you said Whitebeard's speed is FTL and AP. He has during X, so it really matter.
yeah, I think he just blitzes. I could get him faster or like higher. It's not needed unless you can get Naruto to like FTL or whatever.
Let me think. Oh, I think I have a scan. Get Naruto FTL.
What happened?
I think I have a scan to get Naruto FTL.
Okay, which one?
Looking through.
If you tell me what it is, I can also help you like post it because I like know everything, all the calcs and stuff.
All right. So do you know in one of the data books when Naruto of weakened fatigue Naruto was dodging photon beams? Are you aware of that
Yeah,
one?
you're talking about the Sasuke Retsuden. When like in Naruto's Hokage building, and then they use a photon railgun, and then they try to shoot photons at Naruto. That's the thing that Happy uses. The reason why that's like trash though is because you can actually quantify the difference between, or you can't quantify the distance between Naruto and the photon guns. Now you can argue photons move at light speed, but you wouldn't even be able to give me the distance between the photon gun and Naruto because we're not actually given a quantifiable distance here. And even if you did and you make like a pixel calc or you try to scale this like in perspective of the Hokage building, it wouldn't even matter because similar to what I said earlier about light speed feats, as it travels as well as the distance that's there, it would be unquantifiable as well as the fact that the attack would become slower and slower and slower as it travels the distance. So yeah, because obviously speed equals D over T. And if you can't necessitate the D in this case, you wouldn't actually be able to, or the T, because you can't even give me a time frame for these things. But yeah, I just feel like that feat in particular is just bad because it's incalculable, as well as the fact that you're not able to scale it. And you wouldn't even be able to say it's relativistic either because you're not able to give a time frame or a distance.
Oh, okay. So your argument is just Whitebeard, Speed Blitz, during egg?
Yeah, he just speed blitzes and then he just erupts shockwaves or uses advanced conquerors hockey or whatever it is and just slaps Naruto.
Hmm. And you already debunked that stuff like precognition and stuff won't work since you have to what is it? You
Oh
have
yeah,
to.
precognition. Yeah, even if you have precog, it doesn't matter in context because your body still has to be fast enough to react to the attack. Like you could argue, Sasuke's Sharingan in a sense is kind of like precog. You could argue that even if you don't think it is, there's other forms of precognition in Naruto as well. Piece, and you still have to be fast enough to dodge the attack. It's like similar to like how like you can have a Sasuke and you can have a Rock Lee. You can have enhanced perception or enhanced senses, and even if this is the case, like, Rock Lee still slammed him into the ground. It's like that whole narrative of you having to be fast enough, as well as we've seen that with like a Luffy who can literally see like seconds into the future, and then he still can't move out of the way due to this character being massively faster than him. So that definitely is the narrative there. So
Okay.
yeah. Is there anything else you want to dive into, or abilities or things?
For abilities, I feel like Naruto's strongest ability is Rasen Shuriken, but of course that one was kind of,
Yeah,
you
because you have
know.
to be fast enough to launch it, as well as having it bypass. Go through your skin cells. So I can definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, so this wouldn't really be an argument. I'm just asking. You know how Naruto, his Kurama Avatar link. You know how Naruto's like in the inside,
Yeah.
and since Whitebeard, he has shockwaves that bypass that. He will that would really matter too.
You said because Naruto has his Kurama link and he's able to like communicate with the Nine Tails, and that would like bypass his Kurama link.
No, what I'm saying is like Whitebeard's shockwaves, right? Since Naruto's
Uh huh.
located in the inside.
Yeah.
Since
Well, that's
Whitebeard.
it's not. Well, yeah, it's not actually Naruto located in the inside. It's more of like a mental thing, or you could argue it's like spiritual in a case. Like he's just communicating with the Nine Tails. That's all it is.
I was
Like,
asking because like during his battle against Jiken like literally shot up and like punched Naruto out of it. So I'm just
oh,
asking.
oh, oh. Okay, you're talking about if like Naruto is in his Nine Tails, form, and he's like in the sky, his Kurama chakra, whatever, and then he has it all the way out with all tails, and if you're able to punch him through, yeah, okay. Even then, we know that like that Nine Tails, like astral or whatever you want to call it, the form, it still is tangible because we see that's able to interact with solid things. And then it still has a durability to it. So yeah, you could just argue that a character would be able to bypass that as well. That's why we see like the rods are able to stab through the Nine Tails tails and Baruto, as well as like him like smacking the Madara scene with all the tail beasts jumping Madara like in Shippuden during the war arc. So,
Yeah, I know.
but yeah,
Hmm.
is there any other arguments or?
Uh, yeah, I was gonna argue since Naruto's a much smarter fighter than Whitebeard, he could kind of like outmaneuver him. But since Whitebeard is faster, you already proved that he's
Yeah,
faster. Yeah.
it's way too fast.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, I feel like that kind of clears stuff up, unless you can like prove Naruto is just way faster or has some type of speed thing, or you just prove he has like a passive ability that he would be able to use in context to just slap Whitebeard. If not, then yeah, kind of just get blitzed, one shotted, or just blitzed and just tore up over time. So
Hmm. All right. So, are you aware of this one panel from Naruto where when you remember when Kakashi was teaching Naruto how to use the Rasen Shuriken, and Kakashi brought up how the Nine Tails is a 100 times multiplier.
Oh, oh, brother, yeah, yeah. You're talking about the 100 times. That's just well, it depends on the translation because it doesn't even inherently say 100 times. Like typically, whenever they translate it to that, it could just be like dozens or it could be tens of times, depending on the trans from the kanji. But even then, it wouldn't matter in context because you have to prove that chakra is linear, and then you would be able to amplify your speed with it, and I disagree with that notion. I think that you can have tons of chakra of somebody and still not be able to move as fast. Like we have cases to where Kakashi in part one has less chakra than Naruto, but is faster. And it's like prevalent throughout the entire Naruto series that you having chakra or you being able to access chakra is only dependent upon your level of chakra control. So if you don't have that level of chakra control to where you can amplify your speed, it doesn't matter. And even if you could, that doesn't inherently mean because you have 100 times the chakra, you're able to amplify your speed by 100 times. Like it's not how that works. So I would disagree with that line of logic.
All right,
But
but yeah, that's kind of all I got.
so wait, so are we done? Did you like concede or
Uh, yeah, I concede.
all right? Good debate.
All right, GG's.
Oh,
I need you to verify something, Eister, really quickly in DMs. It's important for the video.